Good evening. Where am I? I should be on the screen with you.
How are you?
Okay. Can you see me?
Can see you.
Huh. Okay, let's see why this is not. Hello, Pete. Hello, Olivia.
Hello.
You're not on the screen.
Hello, Teresa. I am on a borrowed laptop until my new tablet comes in, which explains this bigger screen and the fuzziness. But Olivia knows what we went through last week when my laptop finally gave it up. So, or rather, my Surface Pro, my very old Surface Pro, finally had enough. Excellent, Jessica. Good evening. This is our note taker. So once we have, let's see, I know that Jillian and Jeremy are not going to be here. Maureen is still at work. So right now we have and I haven't heard a word from Jatika. Good, good. I'm going to pronounce it wrong. It's Gitika. It's Ghee, pronounced like Ghe, like ghee. Gitika. Um, so Jess, I guess you have time to take some attendance and record who's here. I think this might be a very fast meeting. Um, I've been asked to do some reporting for some of the others who are not able to come this evening. And let's see. So it is currently only 2 minutes after. I'm going to wait another minute to see if anyone else comes in. And if not, I'll call the meeting to order, take roll, and we can start our proceedings. Please note the meeting is being recorded. If you're going to be speaking with anyone outside of this room, make sure you mute your microphone. And remember that it's being recorded so the whole public can see it as well and hear it. I don't believe we're going to have any public participation, but we do have the participation of two liaisons, Chief Scory and Pete Davis from the school committee.
Do you know if Greg Hirsch is listed as is he still public absent or is he commissioner absent? I'm a little confused on that one.
He was voted in last night by the town council.
Oh, great.
but he still has to go and get officially sworn in. So he can't vote until he's sworn in. But finally, yes, he was made official. Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order. It's 7:03 p.m. And I welcome all of you. As I said, there is no public participation this evening. I'll just call roll of our voting commissioners. Sherry Oken here. Olivia Dannenberg.
Here.
Teresa Aranvina Gonzalez.
Here.
I think I could say it by now. And Jess Sukik.
Here.
In addition, Chief Scory is here and Pete Davis is here representing the school committee. First order of business, we finally have full minutes for April. And did anyone have any comments or questions on those particular minutes? I know many of you were not even at that April meeting. In fact, the only people who can vote on it right now are Teresa and myself. So if there are no comments, can I have a motion to approve the April 25th, 2023 minutes?
Can I make a motion to approve? Okay. Motion to approve.
And seconded?
I can second.
Teresa seconded. Teresa, do you vote in favor?
Yes.
And I vote in favor. So Sherry Oken votes in favor. So those minutes are approved. For our July 18th minutes, Olivia, Jess, and myself can vote. But does anyone have any questions or comments about those particular minutes before we go to a vote? Okay. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Okay, thank you, Olivia. And a second? I'll second. Okay, Olivia, how do you vote?
Yes.
Jessica?
Yes.
And Sherry votes yes. Okay, so we've gotten that out of the way. Okay. Jillian, this is the next order of business financial report. Jillian did meet with Steve Mayo and Sherry Dalton, so she's up to date on financial procedures. And she sent us the most recent reports. We have confirmed that we have $3,000 in our general account, but our grant account has not been maintained quite properly yet. I put in for a reimbursement for an April speaker from the International Women's Day, and that's still not showing in our grant account, and I know the town paid it. We did receive $491 for the Asian Pacific Islanders, and that should be reflected because we also received disbursement from the Mass Cultural Council. So Jillian and I are following up on this, so everything will be recorded properly, but right now, not quite. Social media posting. Olivia, is there anything that you'd like to say about the process or help that you might need?
I wrote up a post today to post on the 26th for Women's Equality Day, and I'm planning on writing one up for Labor Day. I usually sit down and make a poster and then write up a post about a day that might be happening soon. The document you gave me was really helpful, and I look up online too. So I usually can handle those, but if anyone has any ideas, please let me know. I'd love to hear them. And
I want to say Olivia is doing a fantastic job of posting regularly. We have been asked if we can post, if we can post at least twice a week, which is a lot unless you're constantly having activities. Glavia is here. Excellent. Welcome, Glavia. Okay. We were just talking a little bit about the state of our social media posting, which Olivia has been handling wonderfully. And she asked if anyone has something that they really think should be posted and celebrated relative to the work that we do. Please get in touch with her. Okay, moving on. We have physical storage in Town Hall, as I've mentioned before, And I now have 2 big cartons of signs, and I'm going to put them in town hall. I also have this tub full of things that we give away, and I need to take an inventory and order more. But if you ever have materials, like Jill is ordering flags for us, any materials, you do not have to have them stored in your house. They should be available to all in town hall. And all you have to do is make sure that you have it labeled as property of HRC, and that you drop it off. You call in advance and drop it off on a regular workday during business hours, and then you arrange to have it picked up during business hours. That's the whole procedure. Now, I'm going to call upon Jess to talk a little bit, because she and I were talking about electronic storage of documents, which was on our wish list, has been on our wish list for a few years now. So Jess, I'll turn it over to you.
So I got in touch with Jen, the communications person. She had been away on vacation, so she only got in touch with me closer to this meeting, and was going to look in to see if there's anything stopping us. It doesn't seem like there's any big red flags about going ahead to find out, or just looking into what is the easiest. I've used Google Drive and Google Docs before for just sharing Word documents and sharing like Excel documents. I think that we just have to talk about security and making sure that we're not, I guess, publicly sharing anything that we don't want to publicly share. So I am going to probably start by setting up do we have a Gmail account for us?
Our email goes through the town, and let's see, it is not a Gmail account. Our email goes through the town.
So I'm going to run through setting up Google Drive, and I'll probably just right now take the contacts sheet and put it up so that, and just see, I may add people to be able to view it through one Gmail account so that we can keep it secure. But basically, to me, it's on one level, it's really easy. It's just, if anybody sees any red flags, or Sherry, if you have any concerns, or if the communications department gets back to me with any concerns, I may end up having to go through a paid service. If nobody is concerned and it's just sharing not very a lot of documents that might be public already, or whatnot, then it's a lower concern thing, and we can just have stuff available electronically. I've done it for work and haven't really run into anything, as long as everything is password protected, and through through an email that we have access to, but other people don't. So I'm going to just proceed until somebody tells me to stop. And that's my thing. I tried to ask a lot of questions to see to see what the concerns are, but I think ultimately it will come down to, should we do a paid service or not?
The purpose of this is so that all of you have access at any time to materials like our brochure that's in PDF. Staples was nice enough, or the town booklet that gives you all the rules and regs, guidelines I've put together on how do you put together a program and who you can contact.
Yep.
This is all very public information.
Yep, and stuff like
very proprietary, but we will be putting like our logo, because if you are going to be somebody who heads up a meeting and you put together, let's say you go into Canva and you put together a brochure or flyer, you're going to need that logo, and you don't want to have to keep on trying to get in touch with me. So we'll put everything in there to help you make your jobs easier, including some of the things I've sent to Olivia and Jessica so they can do their jobs as well. And
And the contact sheet so that people
Well,
can,
the contact sheet, yeah, as long as it's secure, because
that one I would be, I want it, so my goal for that is to have it be secure so that people can't just start calling people who don't want to be called. But I would like, I mean, they're even in looking stuff up in a short amount of time. I've gotten some updated emails or some updated contact info. And I would really like for it to be something that people can pretty quickly access the most up-to-date file. I'll drop things into two categories, or I'll put a document list into two categories of things that are public already and things that might be more sensitive. And we'll start with the public documents.
And as I've asked before, I have also been trying to put together, because I have all your email addresses, I do not have all your phone numbers. And if we have a situation like I had with Olivia last week, thank heavens I had her phone number, but I couldn't call anyone else and forewarn them that my computer was failing. So I still need, Jess, I need yours. Pete, I need yours. Jill is not here. I need hers. Pete, I don't have your phone number. And Rabbi Greg, those are the only ones I don't have. Of course, Chief Scoria, I have your number at the station, which would be the most appropriate place to call you. So Jill, Jess, Rabbi Greg, and Pete, those are the only four. Yes?
Mine is in all the emails I sent to you, Sherry. So every email I sent to you has my.
Oh, okay.
Then I will, if it's okay to just give some feedback on this, just professionally, I think your path of going down, the Google path makes the most sense. The only question to ask maybe the town is, the town emails are in fact Google email addresses, and those they in fact give you greater storage than maybe the free ones give you. I mean, I think for your needs, the free one is probably fine, but you may be able to get the town IT department to create you, say, like an HRC one that has a password that you guys keep only, among your secret staff. And at least then your documents are stored under an official town Google account versus a personal one. But other than that, I think the path you're going down makes perfect sense. And you have the ability to set up directories there that will just be restricted access for yourselves, which is the default. Or maybe if you have some public documents where it's a flyer and you want to link to it on social media or something, you'll be able to do that. And you just, you know how to do it. You just right click and set the permissions.
Yep. My understanding, though, from talking to Jen McDonald in the past, was that once a document is up there, we cannot adjust it, but we can put a new date on a new version. So, for instance, like the program document that has contact information out in the public, like the news media, it would have to have, we could not change it, supposedly.
A policy perspective or a technical perspective? Because I can't answer a policy perspective, but from a technical, you can just have a PDF and you right click and upload a new version. But there may be a policy issue on that, which you'd have to ask her. But in terms of technically, no, you can update files easily.
Oh, yes. She said we can update new versions, but the older ones remain. We just have to indicate the date on the new version so people will know that that's the one they should be referencing.
I think we might be able to get around that because I would still manage the directory. And so I think I should be able to take things down. Perhaps there is some element of this where once it's on the internet, the history of the internet is greater than all of us. But but I will keep those questions in mind, but for right now, I think I should be able to delete things and just keep links up to date. Like there'll be a certain amount of making sure that that the things we're linking to aren't dead links or whatnot. There's some minutia to it, but I think we should be able to at least achieve step one of what we'd like to do.
Yeah, the main gotcha there is if you want to update a document, you have to manage versions and update it that way. If you delete it, that link is forever gone and it won't be there. But as I said, if there's a town requirement that somehow you keep old versions of documents somehow, which could actually be super confusing because, imagine you create a flyer for an event and it's now wrong, but you have to keep the wrong version up there. Like, I would actually think that could be super confusing. But yeah, as long as you make sure when you modify the document, use that manage version by right clicking and choose the new version there, then you can update the one you have without messing up any links. If you choose delete, you forever have broken that link. So anywhere it's referenced would need to be updated.
Yeah.
And for all I know, the information I'm conveying, which Maria Muti got for us 4 years ago, is not the accurate situation nowadays, and things have gotten much more flexible, which would be terrific. But I thank you, Jess, for taking this on, and do call upon Peter, because Peter knows a lot about technology and he can advise you.
Yeah, that sounds great. I think it's something that I would like to, it's something that I'd like to proceed with. And I have a feeling once I talk to Jen and if I talk to Pete, we can manage the issues that we run into and just make sure that we can then write a best practices for it as well.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so very much. Next, I had asked all of you, and I sent you the link, to please watch Tom Mullen's presentation that he made 2 years ago to the HRC on the open meeting laws. It was just an elucidation of what you already had to read about it. And one of the things I've noticed is, have any of you had any meetings? Because I haven't seen anything set up. And if you are, as we move down to activities, if you haven't started planning and getting your meetings together, you're going to run out of time. So does anyone have any questions about the open meeting laws and what's required of you? You can't have an offline discussion strategizing between two commissioners. You have to make it an official meeting, put it on Zoom, and open it to the public. So when you start planning any of your initiatives, remember the open meeting laws are quite strict. It's 3 business days. That does not include holidays and weekends. So you have to think ahead. Certainly you can just share general information, but anytime you put your heads together and strategize and plan together, you have to have a formal meeting using the town Zoom. Let's see what else. Oh, just case in point, we have all the signs, and Jill is taking care of the flags, and she's working with the town to find out how we could make the optional donation that we'd like to make to the people who are providing all the flags to us. When I bought the signs, I haven't opened the box, but supposedly they were also going to put in some bumper stickers for free. So I've just been moving the box around. But we have plenty of signs now, and we'll have those peace flags as well to hand out to people. And like I said, we'll also have the usual other bling, the bookmarks that everybody likes, and the flags, and the colorful wristbands and the stickers that the kids like, anything at all that we can do to promote the concept of diversity and understanding. Moving along. Teresa, anything to tell us about Hispanic heritage?
Yeah, so what? Oh, so yeah, I've been trying to recruit volunteers, but that hasn't been successful. But I'm just kind of thinking of maybe doing something different this year than we have for the past 2 years. I know they want us to do something more educational when it comes to events. So I was trying to think of having different kind of dances, kind of focusing more a little bit on what Sherry did for the last event that she organized, and maybe do something in the America, maybe do it something on the weekend. I was looking at the school calendars, and I know September can be challenging because a lot of the back to school nights happen during the week, and I think we ran into that in the past 2 years because obviously we weren't really looking at the calendar, and we're trying to organize an event, and a lot of the parents, the feedback was that it was during the back to school nights and they couldn't bring the kids. So I am kind of thinking about doing something on a Saturday this time around. I know the weekend can also be tricky, especially in the fall with sports and everything else, but I think we just kind of have to give it a shot and just try something different this year and see how that goes. The America, is open on the weekends. I know they have a bunch of activities on the week nights, like every week and the weeknight, especially at 7. So I was thinking maybe doing something in the morning, and I am waiting to hear back from an organization about, they do a lot of like kids dances and different demonstrations, and just kind of getting an idea of what that would be like and cost. And so I can kind of bring that back.
I have 2 volunteers for you, people who've helped us in the past, and they.
I've reached out to them, Sherry, but I haven't heard back
Oh,
from
yeah, okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
so that's why, and I reached out to a number of other people that I worked with in the past, but I haven't heard. And I know it's summer, and I know people are kind of ending their vacations and try to squeeze whatever they can out of the summer. So I'll try again, but that's kind of where I am right now. And I just wanted to also ask about what would be the funds that we would have available this year, if any, or if we were just thinking of no budget.
We definitely have funds because we have the $3,000 in our budget. Of course, that covers us through the whole year, and I've just spent 125 on signs, which is not much.
Okay.
And we also still have a good deal of money from the grant, $1,000.
okay.
So we have money to spend. One thing I will alert you, even October, Saturday is going to be impossible. Town Day is the 7th.
Okay.
Jeremy has not been able to get an earlier date for us for the farmers market, and they offered us the 14th or the 21st. So that doesn't leave any Saturday options to think of. You think about that.
Well, September though. Yeah, it starts the 15th of September.
September is really close. You have less than a month really to plan. So that's why we've always done it sort of later in October, so that we had more time to plan. But please, call a formal meeting. I'll come to it. Maybe, I'll have some ideas too to help out, because I said I'd be very happy to be part of this as usual. And make any contacts with any people you find we need to contact. Okay, but time is of the essence. It's coming up. Same thing with Indigenous people, and I'm trying to remember who it is who said they would take the lead on that. I think
it's me and Jeremy.
You and Jeremy and you two have not had a chance to call a meeting.
No, we haven't.
Okay, let me just tell you that if you want to get in touch with any of the local Indigenous tribes, they get booked up really fast. And I know that Jess has been encouraging us to use the Albion, and I think it would be great if we could have someone from one of the Indigenous tribes perhaps do stories, maybe at the Albion. But you're going to have to get in touch with those different tribes. And I know Benny Wheat, I don't know if you've ever met Benny, but I can give you her contact information, has done this in the past. So she has, and I don't have all her contact information. And that's the kind of thing that we're going to put into our Google Drive file. Who do you contact? And I will offline send you Benny's information so you can gather that. And like I said, it would be wonderful if we could have, because that would be educational. You can see the cultural through their storytelling, and the history through their storytelling. And I know, Jess, you'd love us to use the Albion. So that's just, and I think that might be but you got to work quickly because they get booked up fast. So please move ahead on that one. And as I said, when Jeremy and you have a meeting, it's 2 of you together. Open meeting laws.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And I know that, let's see, Olivia, was it Jess who said you can report on what's going on with the lecture series?
I can report on this.
Okay.
So we're still at the we just sort of exchanged emails to divide up calling people to find out what to pursue. So I called the library. I have a meeting with Catherine this week who does some of their book groups, to see if that might be an angle to pursue, and also to talk to them about using their space and and anything that they basically picking their brains for anything they might know. I talked to or tried to talk to the other HRCs, but I got a little bit of that sounds like a great idea. You go get him, Tiger.
Exactly.
Um, so that, it was nice to reach out, but they didn't really have anything concrete. And Jill reached out or investigated, talked to Steve a little bit to see if there were any leads. He had suggested affirmative action, but we were having a discussion to find out really who might be the audience for that and what angle to take, and he didn't have any particular leads. So right now we're open to ideas for topics if anybody has any particular ideas. Jill reached out to there is, let's see, sorry, I got this in an email. There are a couple of groups. One is called sorry, I'm going to switch to my email. Nope.
May I interrupt you for a second? It
Yeah,
sounds like
sure.
you and Jill are meeting, but you haven't signed up and used the open meeting law system.
We haven't met. We exchanged an email of information. She sent me before this anybody that she had reached out to.
Okay.
And I made a list of people I would call. So we haven't met, but I thought I had written down in my email from her who the two organizations were that she was able to get in touch with. One is called We the People. They do specific topics aimed towards kids, and the other is Speak Out Boston, that might be able to do something around gender identity. So she was asking more what dates might be possible on our side, what times we should do things, if 7 sounded right. So that was sort of our early goal was to make a list of topics, get in touch with groups that might be able to cover those topics, and then start to talk about like what the expectations might be for dates or how often to do this. I also did a little bit of digging around just on my own and found the other group that does the Sweetser lecture series, and didn't know if partnering up with them might be enough or like an element of this. So right now I've just gathered together in a spreadsheet all of the ideas, and that's where we're at on that.
Fun fact, Pete Davis lives in the Sweetser house.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, that was the Sweetser house originally.
Yeah, they do a lecture series that it looks like it will be it will be wrapping up and is all planned for 2023. But I was thinking we can get in touch with them for 2024 and at least see, because they have $10,000, I think, for their speaker series from Sweetser. Dedicated to education. So there might be a crossover there, and the library might be able to do a book group. And there are a couple of organizations that we might be able to do some outreach. It's right now it's broad. We're still in the reaching out to people and taking ideas for what people might like for series.
Pete, you have some comments?
Yeah, I will say wherever you can partner with other organizations to help find funding, I would highly recommend you do. My other part-time volunteer job is PTO stuff at the middle school. And I can say, we easily spend $1,000, $2,000+ on an enrichment program. Like as you were talking about Hispanic heritage, I was thinking we brought in Veronica Robles last year, who did this like amazing mariachi band program. I want to say it was $2,000+. So, I mean, when you have a budget of $3,000, you know, you have to be pretty creative in how you do it. And I think you did an amazing job with the AAPI event where you're able to have a lot of, you know, local residents help do stuff, and you had a fewer programs in there maybe that were just a smaller amount of money to bring in. It's really hard to have a really, you know, official program because you could easily use your entire budget on like 1.5 of those programs.
I know when Veronica Robles performed for our first Hispanic Heritage event, we fortunately got a generous donation to cover it.
Yeah.
Because back then we had a grand total of $1,000 a year. That's it. So,
well,
but
and
one thing I want to point out, I know
Mhm.
this is like the first year that we're starting again with lectures. You don't have to do 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Even if we did 2, that would be fine. Because remember, there's a lot of other stuff going on because we have the Martin Luther King, Coretta Scott King, International Women's Day. We have speakers. It's usually a panel. APAH, likely because of how popular and successful it is, will likely again be a cultural celebration, which is still educational. But I think the point you made about who your audience is very important. If it becomes something that is too business oriented, you're going to lose the general population. And we want to make it so that it's a topic that will be of interest and concern to parents and teachers and students, and more than business, you know, beyond the business owners, the general population. So I understand what Steve was aiming at, but you know, the Chamber of Commerce can do that.
Well, and that was so it came up, I believe, in Jill's meeting with Steve, and it was just sort of a brainstorm of ideas. But upon reaching out, I would say if we can partner with Sweetser for one, even just something that we could co-promote. If we can think of, Olivia also sent me some ideas on workshops. I think if there's anything in the workshop idea or panel, something like that, if we did 1 or 2, I think that could be another point of outreach. I think a book club run on with diversity topics, sorry to be broad on that, topics of interest that fall under our umbrella of our mission. I think if we did something like that through the library, there could be some small gets that I think could be a way to go, and then maybe 1 or 2 speakers, as you say. But yeah, right now, if anybody has ideas for topics that they particularly want to see pursued, please feel free to send it to Jill or myself. Then we would have more to meet on a formal meeting to find out who we can get. And yeah, at this point, that's I think that's where we're at. We have places to hold it. We have some ideas for things to do, but it's you know, it's about audience. Oh, and I reached out to somebody, from Catherine from Health and Human Services, as a possible contact for some of the ideas that might be more you know, like for topics like you would sorry, Olivia, there are a couple of topics that you had sent me that I thought might fall under that category.
Yeah,
So it's investigation. We're at the investigation phase.
There's something that we were trying to pursue in the last few years, and we didn't get an audience, but there's still interest. It's active bystander training.
That was what Olivia had mentioned.
I can be your contact. I am actually a certified facilitator.
Oh, nice.
So I took the training. It was excellent. I've done several trainings since then for other groups. And by what we would do is we would pay the fee and make it available to people within our town. So that could also be a possibility. thank you so
Yeah.
much for all of your hard work and your research. And like I said, if when you hold a formal meeting, you might get people from the general public who come and also share their views. And I think that's
Yeah.
important. So you
Yeah,
might get
I
some
think
volunteers.
yeah, I think that would be, I think now that we've done a little bit of organization, and I think I've called half of the people in the town just to say hi, having I'm a little bit more prepared for an open meeting, but yeah, I think because my goals and I think Jill's goals are to not only, cover topics that meet our mission statement, but also feel like they are what fits Wakefield.
Yes. Thank you again so much. And speaking of Wakefield, town events, we're getting down to the end of this agenda here. We have October 7th, Town Day, and I did not send you out a sign up genius yet because I was waiting to hear from Jeremy back about the farmers market. Right now, we have two potential dates, the 14th and the 21st. Is there any feeling about a preference on one of those dates? Do you think the 14th is too close to the 7th, or does it make a difference? And what we do is we divide up the shift. It's a few hours, and we have just different people. And it's always better if you have a partner, someone who comes and sits with you. So 14th, 21st, it's October. What do you think? Any preference at all?
I think maybe doing the 21st, since maybe 2 weekends in a row would be maybe a bit much to ask commitment wise. So we could like stagger it.
Okay.
Yeah, the 21st works better for me. I think I will have a lot of family in town on the 14th. It's a big birthday weekend.
And I will do what I can, but I think I'm also on the Council on Aging. And I think the afternoon of the 21st, they have, or maybe it's all day, they have a big senior fair. I've been trying to get a date confirmation and I haven't gotten it yet. But now when we do these things, the town day, they provide the table. Last time, the weather was perfect. You didn't need a canopy. It's not as hot. I just did farmers market for Council on Aging on Saturday in the sun, no canopy. It was, even though it was early in the morning, it got a little uncomfortable. But I do have canopies. They're big and they're really heavy. And so if we set up a stuff for my house, like I have tables and canopies and things like that, I'm going to need help. Because there's
I live very, very close to the common.
Mhm.
And I have a canopy that's just in my garage. So if it would be easier, like I live close to vets, kind of like my house is really close. So it would probably be easier to grab it from my house. And it's a big one. So could definitely use that.
I think in October, unless it's raining, we won't need a canopy.
Yeah. But just in case.
Okay, great. Because remember, the farmers market is over, the other side of the lake, which is the side of the lake I live on. I live around the corner, but this stuff is heavy. Okay, so I will book it for the 21st. So October and the 27th and 21st will be involved in town. And I will send you sign up geniuses so that you can volunteer, and everybody's encouraged to come and, bring your husbands, your wives, your children, any significant other you'd like to help us out. Because we can bring them up to speed pretty quickly, and mostly people come by and they want to grab a flag or a sign or something like that. See, matters not anticipated. I am going to turn this over to Pete Davis, who had some information that I thought would be interesting to all.
So I have a comment before that on the topic that I didn't get to mention.
Okay.
So I don't know what the limits are on what WEF, or Wakefield Educational Foundation, covers, but I just wanted to mention that I think next month sometime is usually the time they have their annual grant. And they're always very generous to town organizations to put on programs. If you think of a program, and it can't just be a generic one, you have to actually find a location and the speaker and know how much it's going to cost and that type of stuff. Their grant process is very easy. They have a 2 or 3 pages you fill out. It will take you 10 minutes. And it may be an opportunity to help run a program that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do with your full $3,000 budget for the year. So I don't know if there's any. I find it hard to imagine they wouldn't fund a program like you have in mind. They fund programs like this for the schools all the time through various PTOs. So I encourage you, when that grant cycle opens, it's usually, I think, either sometime September and close in October. I may be getting the dates a little off, but pretty close. It would be a good opportunity if you have a program you'd like to run, but maybe can't run it without a special funding, that you could put in a grant request, and that may be an opportunity for you to run that. So
Can you say the organization again? Sorry.
So they're called WEF for short. Their website is WEF01880.org, but it's Wakefield Educational Foundation.
Yep.
And they're amazing, and they raise a lot of money to give back to town organizations to put on various programming that otherwise wouldn't be able to be funded.
They offer scholarships as well, right?
I think you're thinking maybe TSF, who does the scholarships. The one that does like where they dial for dollars. They don't do dialing anymore. I think they're now back to sending stuff via mail because people don't have phones listed anymore. But yeah, I don't think WEF is the like, they'll do like stuff for teachers, for classrooms. They'll do programming, that type of stuff. So I think they'd be a perfect match if you have a program you can think of that you can only do it if you get the funding for it, where that may help you do something that you otherwise couldn't put on. So in terms of topics not already on the agenda, I just want to provide a quick update, and it's not in my purview at all, but Sherry had, I'd given Sherry a quick update of my public knowledge on the vocational project that was in your July minutes. And there has been a change in status since that, and this has nothing to do with any official town capacity that I have. But I wanted to make sure that your current minutes reflected the status. So I'm just going to read to you specifically from the Wakefield item. This is from August 9th. And the quote is, Northeast Metro Tech has received its National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permit from the Environmental Protection Agency, which allows site preparation work in certain areas related to their plans to build a new vocational school. And it goes on to say that they have appealed work in certain areas related to their plans to build a new vocational school with regards to the Conservation Commission's denial of the project. So the main reason I want to give that update is they have begun some work on the project, and the minutes from July didn't have a current reflection of the status there. So I have no any confidential knowledge. I have nothing to do with that project at all, but I did want to make sure that I provided the latest public information on it.
By done some work on the project, you don't mean any actual site work. You're talking
No,
about
they're doing site work. So they've received
permission
to actually start doing some stuff that's not related to the denial part from the Conservation Commission. So, and they've received permission to begin that work, and they have, as far as I know, they've started doing some of that work. So I just want to make sure I gave accurate information.
Thank you. Chief Scory, do you have anything on the public safety end that you would like to tell us about during unanticipated matters?
I mean, no, I mean, we have so many different things going on. I've been doing 15 different things throughout this meeting here. Is there anything in particular that you're looking for?
No, but I'm thinking that there might be something under public safety that might be appropriate, or you could work with our lecture committee that you think might be relevant for people to understand. And it could be, you know, domestic issues. I know that's Amy's purview, Amy Rando's purview. Could be drug related.
Domestic issues are all, that's pretty much addressed through WAVE.
Okay.
You know, one thing that for this committee to keep in mind is that Amy has her road race coming up in October, and we're always looking for volunteers and participants for that. So through your channels, if you want to get the word out, that's how they raise substantial money to buy gift cards and whatnot for people who are in bad situations and domestic violence situations. So we use money to get them food, gas, necessities, a lot of people that are victims of domestic violence, finances become an issue when they're trying to get away from an abuser. So the road race is very successful every year. So any help you could provide us with that would be great.
Okay. Glavia, do you have anything on the Medco side and the public school side you would like to bring to our attention?
Well, as we open up our school year, we are having our first back to school night on the 28th of August. It will be held in Boston at the Brook Charter Elementary School in Roslindale. So it's probably an hour and a half for parents. We do have school administrators coming out. So it's just a time of the year where we kind of welcome families back. And in addition to it, we provide them any information that we can about, we provide information about the school calendar, talk about bus time, bus routes, and answer any questions parents may have, especially some of the new parents. So hopefully to get the new year started and as our kids get ready to come back on the 7th.
I recall reading somewhere that some of the students need places to stay during a gap in the afternoon before they can get home, in order to make transportation connections.
Right.
If there was some program that Wakefield residents volunteer, could you share that with us? And maybe that's something
Sure.
that we could also share with the greater community.
Sure. So it's our Boston Wakefield family partnership that we have at the school, where families can sign up to be what they used to call host parents to kids in the district. But sometimes I think when we think about host family, it works better when it's done organically, when kids are able to build their own relationship and has made a friend in the district in which they feel comfortable with, and that way parents can kind of get together to kind of forge the relationship. I found that it's really difficult to just have random parents meet up or random students match up to do that. But one of the things that I'm hoping to revamp this year, now that we're almost, I don't want to say we're out of COVID. I don't want to say that part. Now that we're going into our second full year of in-person with no interruptions, that to revamp our family collaboration, where we had Wakefield families and Medco families come together and maybe start doing some programming that can involve both of the sets of families, in which to start a relationship in the district period, whereas if there are things going on in the district, each parents can support each parent through that piece, or just parents supporting the Medco program. So I'm hoping to revamp that this year, now that we are 2 years in person school.
Okay. I think that sounds wonderful, because it promotes understanding between people who live in different communities and different.
Right.
That's great. I have one.
And I was gonna tell Jess that maybe I'll speak to my assistant superintendent. I know that usually every year they do what they call parent university at the school, and they typically have different speakers do workshop for parents. So I think one of the workshop that they did last year was a workshop around internet safety for parents and students. So if you want, I can ask Kara if get the contact information of that person.
Yeah, that'd be
to
great.
then forward it to you, because I think that topic is typically good for parents, and I think mainly for parents who have students in middle school, and being around safe around school, around bullying on the internet, and how it impacts students and so on.
Yeah, and it had come up of doing kind of some workshops also on how to talk to your kids about some more difficult topics or things of that nature, that might be things of that nature it's showing that I have a list of topics that I'm not quite sure are right. So I would love to talk to somebody, because we had kind of that had been something that we were looking into organizations that might do that. So so it would help narrow in on what those topics are, and what people really are looking for help with. And so that would be great. I would love that.
And maybe I'll circle back to you also, because last year we did a workshop. Well, we offered this, a clinician came on and did some work with our parents, gave our parents some information about what to look for in their students in regards to mental health, their presentation, and some of the key signs to look up around, more or less around like depression, anxiety, and some of the parents found it very helpful. So that could be a good workshop also for parents on signs to look for when their students are struggling with some mental health issues that they may not be familiar with.
Yeah, that would be great. If you can, so if you can reach out, do you have my email through any of this?
I'm going to, after this meeting, send everybody what I have. That's all the list of email and phone numbers I have to date. I'll just send it to within our group.
Yeah, I think I have yours. So, but yeah, if we can get in touch and then just share that contact info, that would be really great. Because I think those workshops are a good idea.
So, and Jess, if you could afterwards email me both your and Jill's phone numbers, that you have both. And Pete, I know where to find yours. Okay, thank you. Is there any other unanticipated? I have one last thing if no one else has anything. Yes, Olivia?
I know we talked a few meetings ago maybe about talking about the Healthy Youth Act, and it is late now, so I don't think I want to talk about it now, but I think we should definitely bring that up in a future meeting, because it has a lot to do with, human rights and healthy education for the kids in school. Like, Massachusetts sex ed hasn't been updated in 24 years. So it's definitely an interesting bill. I've read it before, and it definitely has to do with our work.
And I thought Jillian was going to be supplying that to us so we could discuss it at this meeting. Then I found out that she wasn't going to be at this meeting. And so I'll remind her to share the Healthy Youth Act.
So on a good note, Olivia, the DESE is actively updating the health policy, and there's a draft of it available, and they are taking feedback. If anyone has feedback, I think through maybe another week. And hopefully that will be approved over this school year, and maybe would have a chance to roll out at the beginning of the next school year. So there are a lot of new topics and updated topics in there that would get added as a result of the changes that are not in the current curriculum.
Oh, that's great to know.
So if you go to the DESE website, I'm sure you'll find it right there.
Okay.
And where you can read it. It's like a 48-page or 49-page document, but there's also an email address if you have any feedback you want to submit. And there's a Google form where anyone can, fill out questions and give them feedback.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Could you please spell DESE?
DESE.
Okay. So it would be DESE.com or DESE.org?
No, I'll find you the actual website.
Okay. We have so much we want to do and are planning to do, and we are short a commissioner. And if Gatika fails to come to any more meetings, she would have been considered vacating her seat, which means we will be short 2 commissioners. So please spread the word to people that you know that might be interested in doing this kind of activity and work that we are looking. I have a few people I'm going to approach. I keep asking them, and they say, well, maybe next year. I'll ask again. And I will check with Sherry and Jen on how we can more aggressively advertise, because we definitely need to fill these seats in order for us to get this work done. There's a lot everybody is going to be doing unless we have more people.
So Sherry, the website is www.doe.mass.edu. And when you go there, you'll find the information specific to, they now call it the Comprehensive Health and Physical Education Framework, or CPHE for short. And
Okay.
you'll find the 48 or 49 page doc there, as well as the place where you can email feedback or the survey you could fill out. And feedback has to be given to them on or before August 28th.
Okay, so please put that in the minutes, Jess, for everyone to see, doe.mass.edu. Thank you.
And it's called the CHPE.
Well, everyone, it's 7:58. I promise we will never have meetings longer than an hour. We would have to have some enormous emergency for me to do that. So I am going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Okay. I second the motion to adjourn. How vote you? Okay, Olivia, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, Jess?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yeah.
I say yes. We're the 4 voting commissioners. Thank you all so much. This was a very, very fruitful meeting, lots of wonderful information. And I look forward to you planning some Zoom meetings with the public too, so we can get more people involved. Okay. Good night, all.
Thank you. Good night.
Oh,
Sherry.
Yes. Oh,
I'm going to leave.
Oh, yes, you can.
Okay. Bye.
I wanted to follow up with you about the presentation that you were gonna send me with the spoken notes in there for the commission, for being a commissioner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I haven't had a chance to meet with you, so so I figured tonight would be a great night for us to for me to tell you can send me the presentation, or we can just schedule something else. Like,
the reason I can't do it is I'm using my husband's computer, and that is not resident on this computer.
Right.
Hopefully tomorrow the new tablet arrives.
Okay.
You know, another, just another $1,200-1,500, you know. So.
You didn't anticipate.
Okay. So actually we're being recorded as we speak about this. So you said that September 5th was a good date for you because you're in the process of moving?
Yes. So September 5th, 5th or the 6th. Actually, no, the 5th is not good because I have an evening meeting for another chapter. So the 6th is good for me if you want.
The 5th or the 7th, either one is good for me.
Yeah, and what are you doing in the evening, or can you do it during the day also?
I can do it during the day as well. Remember, I'm partially.
Okay, so let me see. The 5th, I'm okay if you want to do something in the day. The 6th, I'm okay to do something in the day if you want.
Okay.
So you can just tell me what time.
I have
The 7th would be
appointments on both days, but otherwise I don't have anything on the calendar. So
okay, do you want to do the 6th at like 11?
Okay. I should be back from that 9:30 because
we could do 11:30.
It's an in-person appointment, that's why. So 11 o'clock is fine with me on the 6th.
Okay. So you'll send me a Zoom link and I'll put that in my book.
I will do that. And great. Okay. Thank you for being persistent about this. I really.
I didn't want you to think I was blowing you off. I'm like, I just closed on my house. No. And I'm trying to move, so.
I know we all get super, super busy, and
right.
So thank you very much. And
you're welcome.
And I hope that we can do something with Metco. I don't think we've done, other than for Martin Luther King, which is the obvious.
Right.
We really haven't done things throughout the year in terms of promoting the good work.
Right. And I know you guys are looking for members, so I don't know if members have to live in the town to
when you apply to be a commissioner, you have to be a resident of Wakefield.
Okay. All right.
If during your term you move, you can still stay on the commission. But when you apply, you must be a resident.
Okay.
And that's one of the things I cover actually in the orientation. I talk about that, who's eligible.
Okay.
Okay, but in the meantime, I'll speak to you in a couple of weeks. And
the 6th at 11 o'clock.
Okay, and good luck with your move.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, have a good night. Bye.